Today I've come down to Adlestrop to Claire Hart's Equestrian Centre to meet up with retired racehorse Loose Chips. 62 races under rules, 11 wins and 9 seconds. He peaked at a mark of 144 for trainer Charlie Longston. And I've come down for my new series, Life After Racing. First off, thank you very much for having us down here, Claire. Really do appreciate it. For anyone who doesn't know what you do, here's your chance to sell yourself. How long have you been here and what do you do?
So we've been here 6 years, which is mad. It's flown, absolutely flown. We are a pre-training, breaking, point-to-point, rest and rehabilitation. We have mares and foals, all sorts, retraining of racehorses. That's kind of the sort of yard we are. Got a great team working for me, and every day's different, so it's good.
Brilliant. So the main reason I came down here today was to obviously see what I call the star attraction of the yard, and that would be Loose Chips just over my shoulder. So what's his role here now he's retired?
So he basically, his role now, he leads the youngsters, so any of the breakers that are ready to go riding, he goes with them as their nanny. The plan is to do some fun rides and some team chasing and anything good fun with him, you know, so he can enjoy his retirement, but you know, whatever, he's got a home here for life. So how did
it all come about? So I believe he summited here, didn't
yes,
he? Yeah.
So we're friends with the owners, a great syndicate called Barrels of Courage, who is led by a chap called Stephen Spencer Jones, and we're friends with them, family friends. So they bought Loose Chips when he was 5-year-old. He went into training with Charlie Longston, and that association, I worked for Charlie for a long time, so that's how they came to having him training there, and we had him for his pre-training and summer holidays every year ever since.
Was there any sort of complications with getting him to change from the life of being a racehorse, where I suppose you could call him an athlete, to now being retired? Was he just very laid back? Or?
Absolutely, there was no trouble at all, because he'd been in our world always for his holidays and for his pre-training. He'd always been used to our way of doing things, you know, going riding, seeing the traffic, riding around the farm, cantering around the fields. So
everything was very familiar for him.
Absolutely, it's just home from home, and he used to go into training and was a very straightforward horse to train, and then he'd slot back into his little life here for his holidays and pre-training the next year.
I was going to say, that was my next question, was has he got any quirks at all? Is there anything about him that sort of stands him out from the rest of them?
Absolutely, he's mad really. He so as a young horse he was a terrible box walker. I mean, you can see him stood really relaxed now, but even as recently as last year when we pre-trained him, he'd run around the stable, so he always lives in a barn. So at Charlie Longston's he trained him out of a big barn with 2 others. And it was called the Looney Asylum fondly, and that's where him and some of the others with funny quirks lived, and he just would run around all day. And I remember the first time he ever ran for Charlie at Toaster, I went that day and it was a paper bed, and he ran around so much, the dust, you could barely see him in the stable. He was just in a frenzy, but it didn't stop him. That was just his thing.
Brilliant. So what's his favourite thing to do, if he has a favourite thing to do?
Probably just chilling out and eating and just being a star attraction. He's just a really cool, easygoing horse to have around. You know, this morning we've done what we've done, and he hadn't been ridden for 2 days, and you can ride him 3 days a week, 6 days a week, whatever you want to do with him, he just does.
Charlie Longston, I remember reading a small piece on the Racing Post about him, sort of referred to him as this like gentle giant as such, a real gentleman. I suppose that's what makes him perfect for this new role.
Yeah, he's just a really nice little horse to have around. I mean, he spends quite a lot of time here free roaming, because quite often he'll come in and we haven't got a spare stable for him, so he'll just hang out in the yard, and his favourite trick is opening his feed bags and pouring food on the floor, but we don't mind because it's chipper and he gets away with it. But yeah, he's just a legend. It's an absolute privilege to have him
here.
You know, I sort of obviously hold him in high regard and have loads of respect for him, but I sometimes forget how famous and how well known he is with everyone else, because he's chipper to us.
Yeah, I was going to say.
What he's achieved is amazing, but yeah, he's just one of our pets.